The Turn of the Tide by C.S. Lewis. Breathless was the air of Bethlehem, black and bare. The fields, hard as granite, were the clods. Hedged stiffened with ice, the sedge in the vice of the ponds like little iron rods. The deathly stillness spread from Bethlehem, it was shed, wider each moment on the land. Through rampart and wall, into camp, into hall, stole the hush, all tongues were at stand. Travellers at their beer in taverns turned to hear. The landlord, the oracle, was dumb. At the procurator's feast, and a jocular freedman ceased. His story and gaped, all were glum. Then the silence flowed forth to the islands in the north, and it smoothed the unquiet river bars, and levelled out the waves from their revelling, and paved the sea with cold reflected stars. Where Caesar sat and signed at ease on Palatine, without anger the signatures of death, there stole into his room, and on his soul a gloom, till he paused in his work and held his breath. Then to Carthage and the Gauls, to Parthia and the falls, of Nile to Mount Amara it crept. The romp and the rage of beast and swamp and forest ceased. The jungle grew still, as if it slept. So it ran about the girth of the planet from the earth. The signal, the warning went out. Away beyond the air, her neighbors were aware of change, they were troubled with doubt. Salamanders in the sun who brandish as they run, tails like the Americas in size, were stunned by it and dazed, wondering they gazed up at earth, misgiving in their eyes. In houses and signs the Osiarchs divine grew pale and questioned what it meant. Great galactic lords stood back to back with swords half drawn, awaiting the event. And a whisper among them passed, "Is this perhaps the last of our story and the glories of our crown? The entropy worked out, the central redoubt abandoned, the world spring running down?" Then they could speak no more, weakness overbore. Even them, they were as flies in a web, in lethargy stone dumb. The death had almost come, and the tide lay motionless at ebb. Like a stab at that moment over crab and bowman, over maiden and lion came the shock of returning life, the start, and burning pang at heart, setting galaxies to tingle and rock. The lords dared to breathe, swords went into sheaths, a rustling of relaxing began, with rumor and noise of resuming of joys along the nerves of the universe it ran. Then pulsing into space with a delicate, dulcet pace came a music infinitely small, but a clearer, and it swelled and drew nearer till it held all worlds with the sharpness of its call. And now divinely deep, ever louder with a leap, and quiver of inebriating sound, the vibrant dithyramb shook Libra and the ram, the brains of Aquarius spun around. Such a note as neither throne nor potentate had known, since the Word created the abyss. But this time it was changed in a mystery as strange, a paradox and ambiguous bliss. Heaven danced to it and burned, such answer was returned to the hush, the favite, the fear that earth had sent out. Revel mirth and shout descended to her sphere below sphere, till Saturn laughed and lost his ladder's age frost. His beard Niagara-like unfroze. The monsters in the sun rejoiced, the inconstant one, the unwedded moon, forgot her woes. A shiver of rebirth and deliverance round the earth went gliding, her bonds were released. Into broken light the breeze once more woke the seas, in the forest it wakened every beast. Capropods fell to the dance, from Taproband to France, leprechauns from Down to Labrador. In his green Asian dell, the phoenix from his shell burst forth and was the phoenix once more. So death lay in arrest, but at Bethlehem the blest, nothing greater could be heard than sighing wind in the thorn, the cry of one new born, and the cattle in stable as they stirred.